Okay, okay. What is up? What is up? It's your boy, the Coop with the bloop bloop. We're back with another one. We're resting. Got my resting Koopa face with me here. And today we're going to get into a little bit of grinding our MMO Sleep podcast playlist. We're going to the belly of the beast, baby. And this basically just means we're going into one of my favorite dungeons. I'm going to try to take you to as many of the version 3 areas that you can do metal slimes in as I can. There aren't like a huge amount, but there's a lot of cool ones. So this one's pretty nice. It's a fun dungeon. Once again, if you want to know the lore behind it, you can go watch the version 3 playlist. It's a pretty good one. It's very nice. This is a version 3.4 area. Go to the water realm if you want to see what's going on here, okay? Oh my goodness, excuse me. I'm probably going to cut that out. That was a little loud. Still a little sick, winter storm time, and all that good stuff. But yeah, because of the winter storm, of course, we have to get a congruent topic, right? So today we're talking about going cold, and we're talking about why it is not possible to do. Well, first of all, I could state the obvious, Captain Obvious here. We are warm-blooded creatures. We're not reptiles, okay? Like, duh, right? You get me? You get me? So, going cold is never going to aid you in the same way that you think. Because, um, we need it to survive. Basically, the blood pumping through our veins, it's got to be heated, right? But you guys know what I'm talking about. Not really like physically talking about, dying and losing heat in your body. We're talking about emotions. We're talking about stoicism and all that fun stuff. And why going cold on people, places, things, or general groups is just not the way, man. You always got to have warmth in your heart. You always got to have love in your heart somewhere, even if the love has to be buried for your own safety. You need it. It's required. I'm sorry, you fucker. Start loving, okay? Start sucking. Okay, that was Jesus Christ. I don't know what the hell I'm doing on this podcast, but it ain't user friendly. Okay. Moving on from that awkward statement. Um, I think a lot of us go cold, first of all, because it's protection. We think, as we go deeper and deeper into our goals, our ambitions, our internal worlds, we get deeper and deeper into the belly of the beast, and it gets more and more dangerous. Essentially, there's no, there's no real love behind the crazy environment that we have to partake in. Because of that, we feel like we gotta close ourselves off or get in some sort of mood away from everyone or whatever. And yes, to a certain extent, you have to protect your energy, but not in a cold way. More like in a efficient way. And the reason why I say we can't go cold is because a lot of people go cold artificially. It's like you still have the capacity for more love and light, but you're choosing this. It's the easy way out. It's the suicide of staying alive. It's like Minecrafting yourself in real life, but not really, because the coldness cuts off circulation. You see what I'm saying here? You see where I'm going here, guys? We're bringing the medical into the metaphysical. Kind of crazy, right? Yeah, so what you have to remember is that everything is kind of connected. Everything is kind of cyclical, whatever. I don't know what you're supposed to, yeah, whatever. It goes in a cycle, right? It goes in a circle. You whip that thing in a forward motion, rotate that bitch, throw her backwards in a, okay, let me chill out. This is a nighttime podcast. You guys are trying to sleep. I apologize. Um, but yeah, it does go in a circle. It does. The playlist loops. The cycle continues, and you have to realize that going cold is a result of You know, some or other part of that cycle. I don't know what part specifically. It's honestly different for everyone, but it's some part of the cycle, and usually it's a misunderstanding and misinterpretation of, you know, what that means to you, or what that thing was trying to do to you. Okay, let me mute real quick for you guys. And yeah, although it's completely fine to misunderstand it, I really do believe forgiveness, you know, and all that bullshit. It's it's for you, you know. It's not for the other person. It's not for, you know, some other world or whatever. It's so that you can be, once again, as efficient as possible with your blessings. Oh, because if there's one thing I realize about anybody who's in the grind, anybody who's made it this far, is that nobody wants to leave shit on the table. Nobody wants to have food made for them and not eat it. And that's exactly what we're doing when we go cold. You realize God is there, Jesus is there, He is King, and He has created what we should get for us, but whew, we often close ourselves off from it by going cold, or by waiting, and thus letting your food get cold. You know? And oftentimes you just gotta realize where you made those mistakes. You know, decide where you want to go from here, take an action, and start just moving, okay? And I think we talked a little bit about this in the MSQ recently, but that's the thing, guys. A lot of times the cold keeps us stuck. And if you're in the belly of the beast, the only way to get out is to move forward. You have to improve. You have to do something, okay? And that's what the coldness really does. Like, you're cold, you don't want to move. You don't want to grind on that relationship. You want to grind on whatever the fuck else is going to give you the warmth back. And oftentimes, you know, that's just us burying our heads in our work and getting this crazy work ethic, grind, hustle, culture, bullshit. And you don't need that. You know, it's not a requirement to live, but it's a damn good distraction. I will tell you that. It is. It is. It is. Okay? But you have to recognize this life isn't for everyone. I understand that I am not here to convince you to take up a mantle, build your own world, get the greatest ROI on everything. That's not what life is really about. It's about living it. And sometimes when you go cold from bad things that happen, that's just, you know, that's a realignment. That's the higher powers that be saying, hey man, this shit was not for you in the first place. So we're just gonna let you know here and now that if you want to go down this road, it's not gonna hold your hand, you know. Big top here, I will not hold your hand, you know. We will not. We will not. I'm gonna try my best to give whatever light and love I can, but you know, if I went too deep, that would cause me to go cold. That would certainly cause me to feel differently about you guys, about what I give, because of course I went so deep. I went in so hot on that dinner. And then when you didn't eat it, it hurt me. And now I am cold. You know, you can't do that, man. There's got to always be warmth, even if it's a small amount of warmth. Even if the amount of warmth that you can give is just a little kindling for someone else, they still deserve it. You know, you don't have to go all out and bring someone a scorching hot fire from your oven. That sounds weird. Was that sexual? I don't know if that was sexual. But put in the comments if that was sexual to you. Don't do that. I'm not saying don't comment, but you know, there's a lot of people, things, whatever in life that, of course, I love a lot, and I could give a lot more too because I do love them a lot. Um, but I realize, and you should realize as well, that you know we're in a cloud world, and you have to protect what you need to protect, and that doesn't mean going cold. Oh, excuse me, the nose is really hurting me today. It doesn't mean going cold, it means protecting your warmth. It means, we have a certain energy to us that needs nurture, that needs sort of the care that we have the ability to give to ourselves. A lot of people deny this ability because it feels weird. It feels weird, It's like you're not supposed to masturbate, right? But at the same time, you're supposed to masturbate, and that's really what it is. It's really what it is. You're creating your own fire, and you're just gooning to it. It's essentially the main thing. And that's what I tried to way back in the day portray to my friend group. Of course, it was they were straight up just friends of utility and pleasure. And right now, I'm really looking for friends of virtue. I always was, but right now I'm really locking in on that. People who are just kind of there because not because I provide anything, or not because I'm super sexy, even though I am super sexy, um, but because they want the soul, the spirit, the energy. And I suppose it's really hard to distinguish between utility and virtue for some people, but it's a feeling. Like I said, it's a feeling, and as long as you're open enough to come in with enough warmth. I'm not saying all the damn warmth in the world, man, but enough warmth to just show that you're open and ready for something. Um, you'll get what you deserve. I'll say it that way. You'll get exactly what you deserve, because the thing is, we need to feed that to ourselves first, and that's what you're doing when you give warmth. You're giving essentially the reflection of you, which is the other, um, what you would give to yourself in the same situation. And if you deny that fact and just ignore your inputs and say, oh, they're not loving me back, or they're not whatever, or, they're not giving me the attention I deserve, just know that as a general thing in life, and this is going to sound depressing, but I assure you it's not, no one will give you what you deserve. Not a single damn soul. No one. Because people don't give you what you deserve. They give you what they are. It's like, I don't really know what you need, my friend, my viewer, my dear chatter. I really don't know. I got no idea. But I am giving you? I'm giving you what I got. Which is the voice, the wisdom, the platitudes, the gameplay, whatever, whatever you call this stuff that we have here. A general little YouTube video product that I like making here. All right. But I think oftentimes we discount the fact that we ourselves are our own gift, okay? So if you look at it that way, then no one's going to give you what you deserve. That's for you to give to yourself. That's for you to find your inner child, pick him up, hold him, maybe rock him to sleep a little bit with what you need. With what you need, man. And I really love the fact that many things that are so helpful to me are just the things that I've picked up from my childhood. I swear, man. A lot of the animes I watched, a lot of the video games I played, a lot of the music that I've listened to, it's all aiding me right now. And, because of that, like I said, I can't give you what you actually need, but, I can give you the advice that what I needed was to go back. So maybe if you're lost, maybe you need to go back too. Maybe you need to retrace some footsteps. I don't really know. I'm not in your life. I don't. It's okay. That sounds rude, but I don't really want to be. As amazing as the 100 over 100. Holy shit! It's wow. It's a lot to even say, man. because I did this actually when I hit 100 subscribers. I went on Google, and then I just Google searched a room with 100 people, and it scared me. It frightened me, and I want to stay in that thankful mode, but I'm just not that kind of person, So I have to. That's why I have to actively, say it every time. I do thank you for being here. I do appreciate the love and attention, although I don't like being the center of attention. I definitely don't want to be ignored, so it's good that we're moving here. And I never want you to think that you're required to stay and tell all your friends or whatever, because that's not the point of this. The point of this is literally for me to just make the content, understand myself, and watch it back so that I can grow into something that I feel like I can give to someone who not matters, but specifically matters in my external world. Right now, we're interacting with a lot of my internal world, okay? And I'm not gonna lie to you guys and say like the whole point of this is not to find a partner. It kind of is, because I was not treating myself like my partner. I was not treating myself like a party member, and that's why, a lot of what I do is geared towards communication. It is geared towards collaboration. Because I don't think I've ever really been a great collaborator. Like, sure, we got the job done. Sure, we made things happen. But, did I have agency in that? Did I have a say in there? Did I even think my inputs mattered? All those things and more will hopefully be, answered as we move along and as we move along. But yeah, going back to the beginning of this tangent, I really don't want to see any of you, any of the 120 whatever the fucks. I don't. I don't. And that's not a mean thing. That's just reality, guys, okay? There is no possible fucking way that I could ever, come out and give every single one of you guys a hug, even at this small level. And it's a parasocial relationship, so it's a huge imbalance. And on top of that, I really don't know who's out there for me and who's not. So, it may be a while before I'm even comfortable enough to do something so simple as a meet and greet. And it's because I've just had the experience of, things not working out on the internet and in real life. And I feel like I have a responsibility, not just for me, but for those who look up to me, who are trying to protect me, who hope for my success, to just not be tricked, fooled, betrayed, taken advantage of like that again, because there is a certain power that comes from me to people who do that. Like when you get defeated, people gain experience points. And I think just allowing people to walk over me and allowing them to just take those experience points and do who the fuck knows what with it is a general plague to society. It is. And if you're a very hot and attractive person, just be careful, man. I'm not saying you have a responsibility, but Marvel is, DC is. With great power comes great responsibility. They say it all the time. All the time. So if you are like that, I'm just saying, man, be careful, okay? What you are doing actively when you just take these girls, men, whatever they are, and just you fuck them and you leave them and you emotionally manipulate them, or you do whatever to get what you want, it doesn't just fuck them up. It fucks them up and every person that they interact with for the rest of their life. It's just not fair, man. This is how the dating pool basically just got ruined, It's just because, we've had a lot of boosted chads in the chat, thinking they can get the super cool girl, but you're a boosted chad, so when she pulls some stuff that, a normal chad would be like, oh yeah, this is cool, and you crash out, and then you emotionally manipulate, and then she finds out you're not whole, and then you gotta be honest about who you are, man. Like, I'm not saying you're a horrible person if you're a boosted chad, I'm not saying that. But I am saying, let's be honest about who we are, okay? Nepotism is not bad. What's super horrible about nepotism is that people abuse the power. I think a lot of horrible things in life, corporate brokers or whatever, the system, it's generally designed to work the way it's working. It's not like it's an evil system. It's not like it's a system that doesn't make sense. They're inherently designed to do the things that they are doing right now, and working against that is the way to bring us back to a sort of sense of normalcy and less efficiency. Because that's the thing, guys. When you get to a certain level, your dating just becomes efficient. So the red pill tries to get you with this whole roster talk and you know, the person with leverage has the most power or whatever, so don't show that you're loving or whatever. Just go completely cold on her and then she'll start loving you. I'm like, no, man. Be honest with yourself. A lot of people don't have that huge capacity that I have for love, but they still found that one person that they really like, and yeah, just because they don't have that huge capacity for love, they sort of shy away from what they're feeling. And I don't want that to happen to you guys. I think there's always a level that we can go back to, especially when it comes to feeling warmth from people. Even from people that we're kind of afraid of. And I think what we need to focus on is our capacity, and respectful distance. I've talked about this before, but there's a very logical way to love from a distance. And a lot of people think that they'll never get it. They'll never. They don't feel these prayers that I send towards them, but they do, man. You don't have to send a message. You don't have to write a letter. You realize we just barely got the ability to do this, and it's not like long distance relationships never, happened or worked out. We read about them all the time, in novels, fairy tales, books, all this stuff. They did happen before, right? So you realize the energy is reciprocated as long as you put it out into the world openly and honestly. You write it down. You don't just keep it in your head and you act like everything is cold. You write it down, you make a thing, you speak it out into existence. And if you really do want to go cold, you can just put it into action. That is generally what love is. So you're feeling like you can't express it in the ways that a lot of other people express it, then put it into your actions. Not everybody receives love the same way, through words of affirmation or whatever. A lot of people are very more cognizant of the ones who are just moving and just doing something, like something with love in it, is better than nothing with love in it. That's the main thing you really need to remember. The other is always going to be within us. It's not going to go away, it's not. No matter how cold you think you can get, the other, the light, the love of life, it's always going to be there. It's always going to be cooking with us. Hold on, let me clear my nose again. And that indeed is by design. That's by design. I feel like as humans, as people in the human race, we are made to give warmth. Like I said in the beginning of the episode here, we thrive on heat energy, thermal energy. The body would not be able to sustain itself without our hot blood, because we are hot-blooded creatures. And so, like a lot of things on this earth, we sort of just produce what we naturally create. We produce that heat, the body heat. And denying your emotions from going to that place, pure passion, just because you've been hurt before, or you're trying to protect your energy. It's gonna cause a crash out. It's gonna cause the spring to spring up, the beach ball to come up and hit you in the face, and it's gonna be embarrassing. Which I don't mind sometimes. And sometimes the embarrassment can be a huge signal to where we actually need to put our energy. But a lot of times, I think the coldness can be a roadblock. And now, as we are nearing the end of the part, I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about the reasons why we do go cold. Because I mentioned it a little bit there when I was getting into that. For me specifically, it's the constant planning and the constant failure of those plans. You see, the world is strange. We live in a lot of variables, and now more than ever, now that we live in clown world, these variables can really never be predicted, okay? And the crazy thing about it is the more you try to predict, the harder it will be to predict it. So a lot of times I'd say I tried my best to come up with a plan that literally aided and helped everybody, every single human being in the vicinity who was involved. I did. Doesn't work like that. Not even in real life, but I still tried for a long time, and I think it's been different lately, but especially through this YouTube channel, I'm realizing that this is really what I needed because it's going to stop me from going cold and stop me from also trying to do that again, because you really can't do that on YouTube. You have to speak to your audience, okay? And you can't be mad at how your audience reacts to it because they are you. The chat reflects you, the comments reflect you. Generally, what the audience does reflects you, and which is why it's so glad. I can't even believe we made it here. And you know, my comment section is dead. It's empty. You know, my chat is dead. It's empty, and it's so beautiful because this is exactly what I do in other people's streams, man. And I'm noticing that, and of course, I'm not mad at people just chilling here and enjoying themselves, because we do get viewers in the streams, right? I'm definitely not mad at that, but I can understand why, you know. It's like I'm slowly starting to get myself more and more every time, so I really do appreciate you guys. And yeah, I realize I'm not gonna please everybody because there are people who come into chat and try to do weird things. You know, I feel like I can talk about this on the MSQ, not the MSQ. I don't know. I don't even know what we're talking about now. I'm so deep into podcast mode, but I feel like I can talk about this on the channel because it's been quite a while. And the reason why I do wait a lot to tell stories specifically about things that happen on the channel and the live streams is because I really don't like to give people more publicity than they need. For some reason, we have a crazy attention economy, and unlike me, like I'm so fucking lame, guys. I will literally like comment on a stream and say hi to a streamer, and then immediately mute them because I don't wanna hear them saying hi because I don't want the attention because I feel like holy shit they're looking right at me. Oh my god, stop it. But yeah, me personally, I wouldn't want to be called out like that. And also I know that it's basically the opposite for a lot of people. They get called out like that and they start jerking off. So I think this is not a selfish thing, although it does sound like a selfish thing, but on this channel, all of the attention will be on me and nothing else. So if something like this happens, that's really weird, I like the story I'm going to tell, I'm just not going to tell it for a long time. And that's it. But very, very early on in my live streaming career, still had this channel, but this was more of like a Twitch thing, and this also happened on YouTube too. I guess I can talk about this too, but this is more like a Twitch thing when I was just streaming. Like I was playing Stepmania on the PC, and I also did a little bit of production and stuff like that. Like I believe I made like a Kirby remix online or something like that. And yeah, people just came into the chat and were like, "Hey, mod me. Hey, can you mod me? Mod me." And I'm like, he didn't even say anything, you know? He didn't like chat to me, like say hi to me or anything. It's just like I have a 0 viewer stream, and he's like, "Hey, give me mod though." I'm like, I don't understand you people, man. I really don't. I really don't. And of course, like when I started live streaming again, the same thing happened. I don't even know if it's the same guy, but could have been. Could have been. 10 years later, he's like, "Holy shit, I still need the mod on the Koopa channel. What the fuck?" I doubt it, though. I sincerely doubt it. But yeah, that's the thing about people, and that's the thing that I've realized. Until you align with yourself, you'll keep, adhering to people like that. And luckily, even back then, I was a little aligned with the fact that the internet is not a place where you're just here to jump on and meet a bunch of friends and ride off into the sunset and be all happy. It's not, come on, man. Get the fuck real, right? So I was very hesitant back then, but especially when it happened now, I even responded to him. I remember back then, I was kind of locked in, so I saw the comment way afterward or whatever. But, this time around, I was like, no. who are you? You know, I really don't have an active chat either, so I don't even think I really need moderation, especially on YouTube. This is like the early starters of streams and whatnot. But yeah, since then the chat has been quite dead, and that's good because once again we're trying to figure out myself. It's not a conceited thing, and I will keep saying it's not a conceited thing to focus on yourself, especially when you spent most of your life focusing on others. But it doesn't really matter what you did before. It really doesn't. Okay, you just have to be selfish because you have a goal. You know, and I'm not denying anyone who's selfish just because they have a goal. Okay, it's a beautiful thing. You know, okay, it's a beautiful thing to just use your energy towards what you actually want to use it towards. I think. And I can't knock anybody for trying to do that, no matter what your history is. But what we really need to remember is that if you want to be selfish, if you want to go cold, if you want to lock in and remove everyone from your life, remember your warmth, okay, and put it somewhere. Lock it up, maybe. Keep it safe. But do not freeze your. Don't go in the cryo chamber, man. It's not worth it. Okay, it's not fun. It won't benefit you. Okay, you gotta put the love somewhere, which is why I'm very excited, to gain an other half, because I feel like just in general the world doesn't really need this energy, especially with where I want to go, and I want somewhere to put it. Honestly, I do. I just want a little box, little hidey hole that I can put all my warmth in and be like, here it is. Here's my microwave. But we'll be there. We'll be there. For now, let's wind down. I want to thank you guys for stopping by the podcast. Hopefully you've been enjoying this content. And whatever happens, we will move on. We will move. We will make our best with what we have, okay? So I appreciate you. And we'll see you next time. And have a good rest.
Tell me where we at though. I'm looking through the windows of your soul on back though. I lost some good man cause they couldn't see the back though. We black bearing arms now, keep it in the satchel. Hey, all this hating on me isn't natural. But God gave me this and atheists can see the passion. And y'all niggas lame hydroplaning with the crash up. But everything I lost, so bring everything.